If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain, all right? It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. You got to try Anchor, all right? Peace. Ladies and gents, welcome to MD Podcast once again. And before we get started, I just want to personally thank you for all those who's been tuning in to season 1 all the way to season 5. And by the time you guys hear this episode, this will be season 5, episode 13. And so ladies and gents, like when I started the podcast, like it was definitely dedicated to my fellow hip hop heads too. And as a hip hop head myself, I am delighted when I find great content online that can't be found anywhere. And this next guest right here, man, I got a chance to hit him up before the page is about to really blow up, and it is blowing up.
Right.
And I got a chance to hit him up right before it pops off, and it's popping off already. And like this guy right here, man, the name of the page is HipHopVCR on Instagram. You guys need to follow that. For all those who are going to follow the page description, the episode description, I'm going to type up the Instagram page, the link tree. I'm going to add all of that. And this page right here, guys, on IG, it's also a YouTube page called HipHopVCR. These are videos from VHS tapes extracted, man. Like, it's basically 289 hours of VHS tapes from 1997 to 2005. From interviews, live performances, news, commercials, and documentaries from your favorite hip-hop artists from that era. And me being 37, man, this is like a gold mine for me. Without no further ado, ladies and gents, we got HipHopVCR, the Instagram page ran by the homie Claudio, man. What's up, dog?
What's going on, man? What's going on? Thanks for having me, brother. And yeah, you were early. You were early before that video dropped. You were a couple days early. So
yes. So, ladies and gents, for all those tuning in, I just want to say, for all my hip hop heads out there, especially in NY and the East Coast, this page was highlighted by Cypher Sounds and Peter Rosenberg from Hot 97. Right. And congratulations for that. That's a very good look. All right, let's get to it, man. Enough about me talking. Claudio, where were you born and raised?
So I was born in New Jersey, in Jersey City, New Jersey, but I only lived there for a year, as I'm told. Then I was raised in Washington Heights, so that's in northern Manhattan, and I was raised there in Washington Heights. And that was all the way up until I was 23, where I finally got my own place in the Bronx. So most of my young life was spent in Washington Heights, and that's where that's where I was raised. That's where I'm from.
NY. So man, do you know how your family ended up in NY? Like, do you know how mom and dad met, or how did family start migrating out to New York?
Yeah, so I'm Dominican, so both my parents are from Dominican Republic, which is Caribbean country. We share the island with Haiti. Originally the island of Española, right? For those who don't know. So I'm Dominican, and I have asked my mom this story, and they ended up here because they felt like there was more opportunities here. I think that I think that somebody had let them know that I think they were allowing people to come in here and get jobs and stuff like that. So the word was coming from the airports and stuff like that. And I don't remember 100%, but there's a chance that my dad came first, and then he came back for my mom. And then once they came, they were homeless at first for
us.
Yeah, they were homeless for a year, living with friends, and I don't even think they were living with family. I think they were living with like people that they knew, which later on they became very close and family, as I understand. And then later on they found a place, and then it kind of evolved through there. and found a little bit of an establishment, you know, where they were kind of cool and they weren't homeless anymore. And then it was cool from there. Once I was born, I did not know any of this. I was, not that I was privileged because I did live in a poor community, but because I didn't know this, I felt kind of privileged, I guess.
How was it like growing up in Washington Heights in that era?
It was great. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I never got into real big trouble there, but and I also kind of stayed to myself, even though I was out and about. So I rode a lot of bicycles early on in my life, and I did get into some trouble, some healthy trouble. Nothing too crazy, nothing that would send me to jail or anything like that. But you know, those who are from New York, you know, hopping the train, stealing from corner stores, stealing bikes, stuff like that. But it was great. I don't have many bad memories about growing up in Washington Heights, despite the fact that it's a poor community. You know, I didn't have any issues there, and I worked in Manhattan my whole life, so I got a lot of exposure from living in Manhattan.
Well, like growing up in New York, growing up in NY, what was your earliest recollection of hip hop? Was it a song? Was it a song that you heard, the video that you saw, an album that you picked up? What was the first memory? So
3 musicians come into my head when it comes to this, and it's Pop Goes the Weasel, that song, right?
Yeah.
Which is Search, right? What's his full name?
Third Bass.
That's right. That's them. MC Hammer's Can't Touch This. And real. Vanilla Ice's Ice Baby.
How old are you, Claudio?
I'm 41 now.
Okay, cool. I'm 37. So we're from the same era, kind of.
Sure.
You know?
Sure. So those are my first. And then what broke that cycle of that kind of like clean kind of hip hop music was when my friend Miguel introduced me to NWA. And it was like something forbidden to listen to something like that, because it has so many curse words. So NWA was the first like hardcore hip hop music that I listened to with my ears. And I don't know if you want to know any further, but then it continues to evolve from there. But that's where it started.
What was the first album that you bought? Like, man, I gotta get this shit.
Yeah, it's got to be a Tupac album, and most likely, most likely it was Machiavelli, and I didn't buy it; I stole it. And I
You're from my era. You're from my era for reals.
Yeah. I stole it from Tower Records down on 5th Avenue, which was inside the Trump Towers, one of the Trump buildings down there. And so I remember that to be one of the first ones that I got. Okay, so I stole it, so I don't know if that answers your question. The first album that I bought, probably a Tupac album as well. It's probably All Eyes on Me, even though it came before Machiavelli, because I started buying more Tupac stuff after he passed.
Right. Let me ask you this, dog. Who was like the first MC that was your favorite? Like, this is my first favorite MC. I'm gonna tell you mine. Mine was Snoop. Who was yours?
My first one was Method Man, which then evolved to Tupac, and then it became Jay-Z. Which Jay-Z, I learned, was the artist that I related to the most, and not so much Method Man and Tupac. Even though I have a lot in my personality that I feel is in common with Tupac, and that's why I like him. But ultimately, Jay-Z is and became my favorite rapper. But the first one was Method Man, like the first artist that I liked. And I think it was because, I mean, he's a great rapper, but I think his voice was like, I was like, man, he's like really good.
So let me ask you this, man. So you graduate high school. What was the plan that you had in your mind? Like, what were you going to do after high school?
Nothing. I barely graduated high school. Let's start there. Barely graduated. It took me 5 years to graduate high school. I went to college out of pressure because I felt that if you don't go to college, I believe that if you don't go to college, you'd be a loser. So I was pretty afraid of being a loser. And so what I had no idea what I was going to become. So
Yeah.
I ultimately did become a professional photographer. So I own my own business in Mount Vernon, New York, a photo studio, and we've been in business for 12 years.
Nice.
And there's no way that I would have thought that I would have became a professional photographer, even though I've always liked photography. I never did think about it as a career or something that I wanted to do. So when I graduated high school, I was just floating in the air. I had no idea.
So right now you're living in Connecticut?
Yes, I am.
Nice. And you grew up in Washington
Washington
Heights.
Heights in Manhattan.
Spent some time in the Bronx. Okay,
Yes.
cool. So let's get into it, man. So ladies and gents, I have Instagram like everybody else, and I'm scrolling, and it just popped up on my feed. I don't even know how it popped up on my feed. All right. So I clicked on this page, and it has so much footage from Nas to Jay-Z, Eminem, Foxy Brown. I can keep going. So anyone that you can name from 97 that was popping all the way to 05, this page has it, from music videos, interviews, live performances.
Right.
Now, the famous thing, the most popular, infamous one that you got an interview about from Cypher Sounds and Pete Rosenberg was the Jay-Z footage of the Summer Jam from 2001.
Right.
And what struck me as soon as I saw it, dog, is that, wow, it's been a long time. Prodigy and Michael Jackson ain't here no more.
Right, that's right. Yeah,
that's the first thing I thought about. Like,
wow, yeah.
Like, wow, Prodigy ain't even here. So can I keep it real?
Go ahead.
Like, as much as I thought, wow, this is a crazy gem that nobody got except this guy.
Right.
But on the real, I was like, are we doing harm to Prodigy's name right now? Or because I know it's well documented that Summer Jam did happen.
Sure.
But nobody ever got that footage, dog. Like,
I know.
For real. I mean, it just lives in people's memories, and that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Like, no one ever saw this. So, I was watching the interview. You said that you don't even know who gave it to you, and whoever gave it to you, you wouldn't even know how that person got it.
No, I have no. It's a mystery. It's a mystery.
Wow.
I hope that the person, the individual who did the video, the gentleman, I would hope that eventually this got to him, and he would come forward, because I would love to introduce him to the world and just kind of get his perspective on this. Go ahead. No, it would be great if he would hear from this. So I'm still waiting. I think it will happen eventually, and it'll be great when that happens. But yeah, I have no idea how I have my theories, but I can't tell you, because I really didn't care too much about that tape when I got it, because I got that tape back in 2001, and everything that had happened was so fresh in my mind. So it was nothing exclusive, because it had just happened. You know, Jay-Z had just performed at Summer Jam. I believe by that point, Takeover was already on the mixtapes as the audio from Summer Jam. And then shortly after...
That's historic. That's historic, man.
Right.
It's a turning point, dude, in hip-hop.
It was. And in regards to Prodigy, I did want to talk about that a little.
And I'm not trying to make you look bad. I'm not trying.
No, for sure. No,
I just thought about it like, wow.
Not for sure. I don't think you're the only one. I did hear it mentioned somewhere else. I don't think you're the only one, and it's fair. Because he has a family, so on and so forth. It was a little bit embarrassing then.
Yeah.
Right. But I have heard that he did comment on that, and he took it as sport. So he was like, he respects Jay for doing what he did, and so on and so forth. And I don't believe there was any real bad blood after that. I've heard some rumors of some sketchy stuff happening, and I think it was before that. But other than that, I've heard that he took it as sport. He was all good about it.
Yeah. So Claudio, when you say you got the tape,
right?
Like what? Like it just showed up at your crib, or you just found it and then you didn't know you had it? Like you don't remember someone, hey dog, check out this tape. Like, you don't remember how you got it?
I have a vague memory about it. So the current tape that the footage is on does belong to me. So that means that I taped it.
Okay.
From whoever bought it to me onto my current tape. So so obviously I put my hands and eyes on it, and I do remember watching it, and because I do remember the Summer Jam Scream, I do remember Michael Jackson coming out, I do remember Jay-Z performing Takeover, whereas most people who did not attend don't remember because there is no footage of it. So
yeah, there's no footage.
Right.
Yeah, dude, that's
so I've
crazy.
always had the footage in my memories. I've always, when people talk about the Summer Jam Scream for the last 21 years, I've always referred to my memory and go, oh yeah, when the camera pans up and you look at Prodigy, just like Michael Jackson, that scene, or Michael Jackson coming from the right side of the stage on the stage with Jay-Z. Like, I remember all that stuff. So I think the reason is because it wasn't so relevant, because it was so fresh. The more time passed, the more relevant the tape becomes, right? And I got it back in 2001, so it wasn't that relevant.
So when you said that the footage is in your tape, so the footage is in your VHS tape, meaning you probably taped it somehow.
100%.
At some kind of TV show, but how? How would you have taped that?
No, not a TV show. Somebody who bought the tape to my home.
And then you taped it from that tape.
Exactly.
Wow.
I've always, yeah.
Wow. So, couple things, like, it was so nostalgic, man. So I was looking at the tape, right? Mm-hmm. Rest in peace, Michael Jackson. That was sad, dog. Like, wow, Michael Jackson's not here no more. And then, of course, Prodigy ain't here. Mm-hmm. But the other thing that was really bittersweet to see was Dame Dash and Jay-Z together, bro. Dance, like having fun, rocking together, you know? Like, it's just crazy how, like, that was 2001, and here we are 21 years later. They're suing each other. Life changed, man. There's a lot of things that happened since 2001, bro.
Yeah.
This tape, like, it's like, wow, so much things happened in Jay-Z's career, and hip-hop changed so much.
Yeah, man.
Let me ask you this. What's your thoughts on, so first of all, how did you get the Rosenberg and Cypher Sounds interview? How did that happen?
Okay, so, well, first of all,
congratulations, by the way. That's a good look, bro.
Yeah, it's a good look. It's a good look. It's a good look
man.
For the platform. Anything that happens at the platform, including this podcast, is a good look for the platform. I do appreciate that Rosenberg and Cypher had me on.
How did that happen?
So the day that so let me rewind a little. The morning, I post every morning around 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
And that morning, I almost hesitated not to drop that particular video because I felt like I had better Jay-Z stuff. And for the audience that's listening who may not be aware, from April 11th to April 17th was what I was considering on my platform, Nas versus Jay-Z week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
yes.
Right. So on
Let's
the
go.
10th, Sunday on the 10th, I had started promoting that on my platform on Instagram and YouTube. Hey, it's going to be Jay-Z and Nas week. So that means that all the footage, everything that I'm going to post for 7 days is going to be Jay-Z versus Nas. So I started with Nas on Monday. That's the 11th. And then on the 12th, Tuesday morning, I hesitated on putting that out because I felt that I had better stuff. But then I said, you know what? He performs Takeover here. That's kind of the introduction of the beef. Let me drop this on Tuesday. So I drop it on Tuesday. I drive over to my photo studio. About an hour and a half later after dropping it, I'm sitting on my couch in the photo studio, and I noticed like a lot of activity on my platforms like Instagram and YouTube, and a lot of people hitting me up, like all kinds. Like Rosenberg was not the only notable person to have hit me up personally. Like there was people from Double XL hitting me up. There was all kinds of like writers and journalists and commentators and all kind of people that we kind of know from the industry who are hitting me up like, yo, this is crazy. How the hell you got this? And that's when I noticed, oh shoot, this is a bigger deal than I thought. So essentially my phone is blowing up with notifications, and a lot of them are DMs. And one of those DMs was Rosenberg.
Wow.
And Rosenberg simply wanted to know, like everyone else did, what's the origin of the tape? Are you the one who taped it? And I told everyone that I wasn't. And so the cool part is, okay, cool. So he's asking me this stuff, and I just want to send him some voice messages via DM on Instagram. And then I believe so a couple days later, he hits me up one morning. He's like, "Hey, dog, you want to be on on my podcast real quick?" And this is literally in the morning.
This is Rosenberg?
Yeah.
Rosenberg?
Yeah, it's Rosenberg. So he only gave me like half an hour to get ready. So I was like, it was morning, so I was already, posting my stuff that I was gonna post for that particular day. So he hit me up. Yeah, he hit me up, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do it. And like 40 minutes later, I'm on with Cypher Sound and Rosenberg. And yeah, it was cool. It was cool from that. I got more exposure from that as well.
Yeah, bro.
I appreciate them for that.
And ladies and gents, this is real shit. Like, Claudio's a real one, because like even a couple weeks before the Jay-Z footage came out, I already hit him up.
Sure.
I was like, yo, man, are you down to do the podcast? Because I knew that there's no page on Instagram like this, dude. Like, right. And before even I saw the interview of you and Cypher Sounds and Rosenberg, dog, OK Player was posting that shit.
Right.
OK Player. You know that, right? OK
No,
Player
I don't know what. First of all, I don't know what OK Player is.
It's the website back in the 90s that really blew up the Broods, Talib, Common. It's like a website.
And you're saying they were posting me before I dropped the footage or after I dropped the footage?
So they were posting as soon as you dropped the Jay-Z footage.
Okay, got it.
OKPlayer.com was talking about you.
Got it.
They were shouting out your page on their article, like,
hip-hop. Nice.
Yeah, bro. And this is even before the Cypher Sounds Peter Rosenberg. So I knew, like, yo, this shit is about to blow. Like,
yeah, I've been
OKPlayer.com showed you mad love, dog. Real shit.
Gotcha. I didn't even know. So a lot of people send me the stuff where I get mentioned,
yeah,
and so
dog.
So people was like, Hot 97 hit you up, Claudio. And then they were like, who else? They were like Complex and DX News and all this. And a lot of these platforms, a lot of them I have heard of them, but a lot of them I haven't. So I've never heard of OK Player, but now I'm looking now on their page, so yeah, I can see it now. But yeah, it's so many of them. Like you like, I think I was on Yahoo Finance. Well, not me, but my platform was on Yahoo Finance and like just a bunch of stuff. Like it went everywhere on that date, man. It was all over. So that was obviously before Rosenberg and Cypher Sound. So I think I was on their platform like 5 days later. So within those days, I was getting put everywhere. Yeah. So, and even before I dropped that, there were people showing interest in like interviewing me because they understood what the platform meant, and just that they just kind of felt like I was doing something a little bit more different, a little bit more legit, a little bit more organized. And I think that's what draws people, because I am not the first person to do this, but maybe the more prevalent, the one who's kind of organizing it very well, and it just looks really good. But I'm not the first one to have done this.
Nice. Nah, bro, like, I'm gonna tell you something. Do you ever, like, for example, if just like, because I was looking at it, right? There's you got a Mace interview, right? You got a Mace interview when he was coming back from the rap game as a pastor.
Sure.
Like, I was wondering, like, do you ever tag them? Like, do you tag Mace? Like, right now, I saw you post Foxy Brown. Like, do you tag her?
So yeah, let me tell you. So
yeah, you got to do that shit, man.
No, of course. Now,
they would appreciate that.
I gotta shout out a lot of my followers on both platforms, YouTube and Instagram, because these guys and girls, they help me so much. Like, I have my own business and my own career, so I'm super duper busy, and the stuff that I'm doing for HipHopVCR, I'm doing it for the culture. I feel like it doesn't belong in my possession. I feel like it belongs out in the universe, right? So So I'll do stuff and I'll get people like DMing me and go, yo, you should do this, you should do that.
Yeah.
And I remember somebody suggesting, yo, you should tag all the celebrities. And I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. I never thought about that. So the moment I started tagging the celebrities started reposting me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is lit. This is awesome. So like Cameron has reposted me. Fat Joe has been on my page before. Cuban Link has reposted me. Lala has been on my page. Because Lala used to host Direct Effects on MTV. Yeah. So
with DJ Clue, right?
Exactly. So I tagged her a lot because she would appear often. So I would see her checking out my page. Foxy Brown DM'd me. She commented. Did? Oh yeah, this was before. So now I tag people all the time because I see.
What did Foxy Brown say?
Oh, Foxy Brown, she put lipstick lips, like essentially saying thank you, right? So that's what she did. But that's cool.
Yes, the Il Nana. Yo.
Yeah, for sure. But I've tagged a bunch of people, and I say about 50% of them will repost. Romeo Miller, right? Lil Romeo from No Limit. He'll repost me often.
Yes. Yo, let me tell you something, dog. Like, oh man, like this hip hop culture originated from NY.
Sure.
And it spread all throughout the United States, and it spread all throughout the world. Right. From the early 70s, and it's now 2022.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of we're getting old like rock and roll.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's been about 50 years. I think we're on our 50th anniversary for hip hop, right? It was like
yes, because 73.
We barely celebrated it. We barely celebrated our 50th.
Right. So if we're considering 1973 as the beginning of hip hop, then that means that next year will be number 50, right? If I'm doing my math right, yep, 50 next year. That's a big number right there.
We'll be
turning 50. I
I
remember when the NBA turned 50, and that was a big deal. So
it was a big deal. So it's like this, right? Like a lot of these things on your page, bro, it could have been forgotten, and it could have never been replayed ever again.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Isn't that crazy? It would never be replayed again. There's no back catalog of this shit. It just
there isn't because we have to assume that MTV, BET, VH1, UPN9, all those places that they have all their stuff there, but they're just not putting it out, and that's why. There's kind of like a need for this stuff. Again, I'm not the first one to have done this, but I think I've been the one to kind of do a good job of getting it out there. I think my marketing mind works pretty well, and so I think it becomes effective when I use that, because I own my own business, so you kind of learn how to market, how to brand and stuff like that. So a lot of people give me compliments on the branding of the channel, and branding goes a long way because branding reaches, it's the longevity of what you're trying to do. It's legitimacy. Okay, this is for real. This is not just some guy doing it. There's a message behind my platform, and So I think that people appreciate that, and it gives it some credibility, and so then now people take it more seriously, and that's why people like yourselves go, this is like legit, like this somebody is doing it, regardless of the fact that some people were doing it before me already. So yeah, I think it's important, man. I think it's a responsibility, like So it's an honor for me to be doing that for the community. I love hip hop.
Yeah, man. And like, it's just good to see. Like, for example, let's take it back to Jay-Z. Like, it just felt good to see Jay-Z in like Jigga mode. Like,
it did.
Like I think, and that's what he said. I think that the footage. They said that the footage reached Jay-Z, and Jay-Z said, "Oh yeah, that's old Jigga right there. That's Jigga." And like, like these days, right? You know what's really cool? Like these days, you don't see Jay-Z performing with 100 people in the back.
No, that I don't think that will ever happen again.
But that Summer Jam was like Rockefeller at its peak, like at its prime.
It really was.
And that's kind of like and this is what's crazy, man. This is how great Jay-Z is. Like, we don't give him props for. Like, his first album came out in '96. 2001 was 5 years later.
5 years later, man.
That wasn't too long.
It wasn't too long.
That 5 years run, it wasn't a long time to build it up. But within those 5 years,
he did a lot.
He worked his ass off to bring out Michael Jackson, and that killed the game, dog. It was like, yo.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
And he dissed Nas and Prodigy at that same concert. It was everything in one show, bro.
Absolutely, man. It's so I got a couple
in New York.
In New York, yeah. It was technically in Jersey, so it's Nassau Coliseum, which is New Jersey. But anytime you did anything in Jersey, you were representing New York. You weren't representing New Jersey. So people from New York will understand that. So, but yeah, one of the comments I'll say on one of the things you just mentioned was that, you know, it felt like the closest to like writing a time machine, right?
Yeah, bro. It was a yearbook.
Yeah, I think that for that 1 week while I was doing the Nas versus Jay-Z week, I think people were kind of locked into that time era, especially if they were tuning into my platform that entire week. I kind of feel like we got zoned out a little, and I even found myself zoning out a little to the point where I started loading some of those songs onto my iPhone and listening to them on my way to my photo studio. So I was kind of like, you know, going back in time as well. And it did feel really good to go back, you know. So I think a lot of people did that. I felt that I brought that to them by like doing that week. Not only that one video, but just kind of like the whole Nas versus Jay-Z week. And then in regards to like Jay's legacy and kind of like what he did from '96 to 2001, it's just a testament to like his innovation and just like how
he was a legend then.
He was. And
he was
in
a legend
regards
then.
to like his branding and styling.
Yeah.
And he changed so much every year, album to album.
He was a legend then, right? You know, you feel me?
He was a legend then. 5
he was a
years
GOAT then. Yeah, 5 years.
And if
then,
I go back,
and
I'll go back. I was much younger. Obviously, I was early 20s. I you know, if I think about and remember 2001, it feels like he had been in the game already for like 10 years.
Yeah, that's how it felt.
Right.
And like, yeah, it just feels good to see the footage because it just reminds me, man, once upon a time, this shit was real.
Now, Marlon, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where were you 2001 during that time? Where were you at? So you're 37 now. So you must have been like 17?
I was a 17-year-old, junior year in high school, living in Oxnard, California.
Gotcha.
So I'm a big Jay-Z fan and a big Nas fan, but on the real, I was a Nas fan first.
Got it.
So Jay-Z, when that battle happened, it kind of like gave a second life to Nas. Nas was kind of fading a little bit. You wasn't hearing from him. And then when Ether came out, it kind of sparked everything up, and it just it brought excitement back to NY because when Biggie died, someone did have to take that spot, and it came down to Nas and Jay-Z, yo.
Sure.
For reals. And within these last 10 years, I think Nas made better albums. That's just me.
I don't.
These last 10 years, not the whole career, but these last. Let me take it back. These last 3-4 release,
yes.
These last 3-4 releases that they both had, whatever these last 4 albums that they both dropped, I just think Nas is getting a little better than Jay-Z. I just think he could have done without the Beyonce album.
Oh no, I love that Beyonce.
You like the album? You like that? Beyonce
I do. But I'm also on a very similar wavelength of Jay-Z. So
I love Jay-Z's music. man.
Yeah, I'm a businessman, and so when Jay-Z talks some of this business stuff, it kind of like hits with people like me, and also like he's growing, I'm growing, and so when that Beyonce album, the album is awesome, but I could understand why somebody might not understand or appreciate that album. It depends what phase and what you're doing in your life. The kind of stuff that Jay-Z's talking about on the album is for a particular kind of individual who maybe is going on a certain trajectory, and I happen to be there, and so that those songs on those albums, they kind of hit. Same thing with 444, so same thing, like just kind of grown up.
I think Magna Carta was hitting.
I love Magna Carta, man. I love all that shit talking that he does.
I think Magna Carta, he did a great job production wise. 444, lyrically wise, it was top notch, but production wise,
oh man,
it was alright. It was alright.
Oh man, that album, I listened to that album for an entire year.
Top notch though. Lyrically though, top notch. Content wise, top notch. But I was No ID. I think No ID makes great beats, but I just didn't expect that sound.
Yeah, sure. I agree. I don't think many people expected that sound from Jay-Z. But I think over time, I think it's gonna age very well, and I think people will consider it a masterpiece, especially as people get older and they maybe understand the concepts and why maybe the beats needed to be the way they have to kind of take a backseat. Beats have always been, like Jay-Z's forte, right? So he always picks incredible beats, like soft, kind of like, like sweet kind of beat. Sweet meaning like in flavor, like they taste really good if they were edible. You know what I'm saying? So when you think of 444, I think more of a very well prepared meal that requires an acquired taste, and so obviously, money, cash, hoes, you hear a beat like that, Swiss Beats running his fingers across the keyboard multiple times, and that's what that beat is. And it's an incredible beat, but it's a honey bun, man. That shit tastes delicious. But 444 is an acquired taste. It's for some very good cooking in there, man. They killed it.
It's good to see the Eminem footage on the page. It feels good to see the D12 days.
Yeah.
It felt good to see Foxy. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah, every day on my platform.
Good to see these things, man.
Sure, every day people could expect to be surprised because I just it's just random, the kind of stuff that I put up. So, just
I love the Master P.
Yeah, people. Master P is huge on my platform, but I just always try and mix it up and get people. I try to hit all regions, because I'm East Coast biased. I'm New York biased. Sometimes I need to pump brakes on that and be
it's
like,
good to see Master P. Yeah,
exactly. I got some down south there, some West Coast. Keep in mind that I'm an East Coast guy, so everything is being broadcasted like East Coast bias, and right. And Jay-Z is like the biggest artist in the game, so there's always a lot of content of him, and I have a bunch of stuff from Jay-Z.
It's good to see DMX alive and well, ripping.
Man. No, DMX is never gonna die. He's always gonna live on through his music and those videos, man. Like it's like he hasn't passed. When I see those videos, I go, DMX is right here. He didn't go.
Feels good to see Outkast, and just once upon a time, dog, this shit was ran by some real lyricists, dog, and it
really was.
It's just man, it's great. It's just it's good to see 50 Cent in full G-Unit mode.
For sure.
How
about young Kanye? Young, boisterous, crazy, passionate Kanye.
It's kind of I know this young kids think 50 Cent is just a TV producer. Y'all got it fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But that's all right. That's all right.
We got our time.
You know what? You're right. Because it's not their fault. It's not their fault, dog. You guys have no idea that TV producer right there was on some real grimy New York
gangster shit,
mixtape shit. And you know what? It's kind of like an Ice Cube, right? You wouldn't think that
you're right.
movie star, this movie star making Are We There Yet is from NWA, but it is. It's
NWA,
Ice
man,
Cube,
hardcore
man.
ass group, right?
It's Ice Cube, man. Um, it's good to see Cash Money and Lil Wayne when they were still young, and bro, like it's just a good thing. Let's talk about the future of hip hop. So, um, who's your top three MCs these days that you're like? It doesn't have to be from our era, but like
okay, got it.
What are you listening to? Something new, like
got you. So I'm going to exclude all the 90s rappers, regardless of the fact that right now I'm bumping Jay-Z and Nas hard. And I think it's because of the Jay-Z Nas week that I think it's still, I'm still writing on. So despite the fact that they're on heavy rotation right now, the artists that I listen to right now they're not so much from the 90s so much and so forth. And my main one is Jay Electronica. I love Jay Electronica. So there's never a wrong time for me to listen to Jay Electronica. So I love his stuff. I gotta think, what else am I listening to? So I got some Meek Mills right now in the car from his newest album, and I got some Nipsey Hussle. I don't really have a top three. But Jay Electronica is number one. Like, he's my favorite rapper right now. And but I got some Nipsey in the car. I got like I said, I got some Rick Ross in the car. Let me see. I got the new Kanye, Donda 2 bumping in the car. And a bunch of other stuff. Besides rap, I have other stuff that I'm listening to. But that's it right there. And then a bunch of Jay-Z and Nas I got mixed in there.
Nice, man. So let me ask you this, bro. What was the last album that you heard lately that you're like, you know what, this is worth a shot? Like, I said, hip hop head. What was the last album you got excited about?
444.
Yeah. What'd you think of the?
Go ahead.
What'd you think of the last Nas album with Hit Boy, King's Deceased 2?
So the way that I've listened to music has changed a lot throughout the years. And so there's so much good music that I don't necessarily tune into albums. Like, I'm listening to Wave God from, I believe that's from the Magic album, the Nas and Hit Boy album, Magic. So Wave God, I love that song. And the reason why I love that song is because it hit my wave. No pun intended. It just kind of came across me. I didn't really look for it. So I did listen to King Disease 1. I could tell it's a great album, but I just don't listen to the whole thing. So the last full album that I listened to was Jay-Z's 444 and Beyonce and Jay-Z's Love Is Everything. Oh, and Jay Electronica's Jay Electronica 2020. When that album dropped, I forgot the name. Regardless, his last album, man. His first and last album. The one he had with Jay-Z. So I bumped that all the way through on 2020. So those are the last albums really that I kind of bumped through all the way through. Everything else is just like songs. Like, I'll just listen to like a couple Drake songs, some Nas songs, and just kind of let it go in my mix. You know what I'm saying? That's how I listen to music now.
Dope. All right. I'm going to give you some questionnaires. All right. Let me just know who you prefer.
You got it.
Rakim or KRS?
Rakim.
All right. Big Daddy Kane or Cool G Rap?
Do I have to drink to this? This is like the drink check?
No. You can just like refer to
it. Okay, so FYI, my era is from Tupac and on. So I wasn't really too on Cool G Rap or Big Daddy Kane. In fact, I have never ever listened to anything that they have ever put out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
DMX or Busta?
DMX all day, baby. Busta Rhymes gets a lot of respect. And I listened to some of his stuff lately, and I think he's underrated. I was like, yo, Busta is sick then. He was sick then. Definitely DMX all day. Go ahead.
Big Pun or Eminem?
My favorite is Big Pun, but Eminem is a beast. Damn, B. I mean, Pun passed after 2 albums, man. And Eminem has had a full-fledged out career. Yeah. But Um, Big Pun is more my flavor.
Yeah,
It's big Pun. Maybe because I'm
yo, he's
Latino
something
and he's
else.
Latino, but Big Pun all fucking day, man.
Big L or Nas?
Nas.
All right. Snoop or Ice Cube?
Snoop, man. Snoop is like that West Coast Jay-Z, man. His flow. Snoop Dogg is incredible, man. And I love seeing Snoop Dogg today. Like his reaction. Just watching him. Snoop Dogg is a legend, bro. He's a legend in life and a legend in music. Like, fuck music. He's a legend in life. Like, just the Snoop swag is like, he got his own swag. So it's Snoop for me on that one.
Yeah, he's always been like that. You feel me? Always had his own thing. Like,
oh man, he's like smooth.
Yeah, I think he could be like a. I mean, he did pursue film, but I still think like, I think Snoop could have been a bigger movie star if he really pushed it. Like, but he didn't, and that's good. I'm glad he did.
But it's okay because he did other stuff. But
I want Snoop to be Snoop, you know. But
on a quick note, when it was Snoop Dogg versus DMX on the verses, I swore that DMX was gonna tear him apart. But I think that Snoop Dogg beat DMX, man. Snoop Dogg's catalog was I underestimated it. I was like, yo, this nigga dropped wild shit every minute. So, and his swag during the verses, he beat DMX. DMX needed a rematch with him because Snoop came with it. So Snoop got him on that one though. So Snoop is everything, yo.
And one thing that's interesting, like I think it's cool. Snoop Dogg said that DMX recorded his very last album at Snoop Dogg's studio. And
look at that.
Right
yes, I do remember that.
Right before he died and stuff.
Man,
so that's really cool, man.
Yeah.
So yo, it's 2022.
Yep.
What's the short-term goals for the page for the rest of the year?
Got you. So it's always evolving, the page, and for those of you who are listening, obviously it's HipHopVCR on YouTube and Instagram. I did launch a website a couple months ago that sells merch, and it also hosts my blog for the platform. So essentially, I'm giving my stories on some of these artists, my perspective on some of these artists. So if you go onto hiphopvcr.com and click on the blog section, you'll read, I wrote about DMX, I wrote about Master P, I wrote about Jay-Z versus Nas, and it's a great read. So those are the three things going on there right now. It's going to continue to evolve. I'm mulling around in my head the idea of a podcast, and in a more of a short term, maybe I'm gonna do like a live, so people could kind of ask me questions and stuff like that. I haven't done that yet, so I'm thinking I'm gonna set something up for that, so people could kind of like comment, ask me stuff, go live on YouTube. So yeah, there's the podcast. Right now I'm promoting the website a lot, all the merchandise, because I got stickers, I got sweaters. I'm creating sweaters and t-shirts, and that's all on the website, hiphopvcr.com. And then I got to see where I go from there. I'm always a futurist and a visionary. So there's stuff in the back of my head that I haven't even told myself that I'm planning to do. And so a year from now, check on me again, and we'll see where we're at. Because there's always an evolution. But that's where I'm at right now. So look forward to hopefully a podcast in the near future. Let's see how I'm able to pull that off with a full-time career,
Yeah. What's
you
next
broke up
for
there a little.
as far as like,
Go ahead. Start again, because it broke up a little.
Can you hear me right now?
Yes.
What's next for hip-hop as far as like what's this next decade gonna hold for us?
Go ahead and ask somebody 10 years ago what hip-hop was gonna bring 10 years later. Maybe some people got it right, but most people probably don't. We could guess, but it moves so fast, and now with technology it moves even faster. 10 years from now, if I close my eyes, what do I see for hip-hop? I think I see more independent artists, more music, just more content from artists. more trends that people won't agree with, despite the fact that we did the same thing when it was our turn. But I really can't tell you. Let me see if I could see. Just more diversity, I guess. Some of the diversity people don't agree with. More diversity, more controversy, more exposure. Maybe more. I am meeting some young artists on Instagram who are kind of like, going back to the 90s kind of style, 2000 kind of styles. So maybe we'll see more of that, more people going back in time and kind of adopting the older styles, maybe bringing it back a little. So maybe a little bit of that or a lot of that, we'll see. But I don't know. It's hard to say. 10 years is a lot of time with technology, and music is tied in with technology right now, man.
Yo, man, it's been really a pleasure talking to you, bro. And
Appreciate it.
Do you have any shout outs, anything you want to plug out there before we, call it a night?
Right. Yeah. Just all the supporters, all the people on the pages, all the followers and subscribers. They always, about 99% of them, have great things to say. Not only about the platform, but just of the old artists and stuff like that. There's always some controversy, like Foxy and Kim debates in the comments, or Jay-Z's versus Nas debates. But they're all like pretty healthy, and I appreciate that. But really, let's just shout out, yeah, I can hear you. Let's just shout out the subscribers, man, and all the fans and stuff like that of these artists, and then the artists, the ones who kind of, repost me, like, shout out to them. That's awesome, man. I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for everybody. I'm doing it for the culture.
Yo, man, I want to thank you for preserving this crazy, endless amount of footage that we may never have gotten to see if it wasn't for you, bro. So
sure,
to all my hip hop heads tuning in, man, y'all gotta add that page right now, HipHopVCR. All right, and you guys can also subscribe at the YouTube page. I'll add the link on the description page. And man, I'm a holla at you when I get off the phone. All right, when I end this.
You guys, shout out to you, Marlon, because I appreciate you having me and taking your time and hitting me up before I blew up.
You feel me?
Shout out to you and your fans and your supporters.
Thank you, man. I'm gonna holla at you right now, G. All right.
You got
all those empty podcasts, we did it. Peace and love.
Peace.